Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. If you're new, my name is Kirsten, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys two pretty popular or buzzed about skin tints from the drugstore side by side. So I picked these up yesterday. I did put them on the skin last night just to kind of get an initial feel for them. I wanted to have a little bit of a test before I film this video to give you more feedback. But of course, this is still a first impressions type review because this is the first time I'm going to be able to wear it for a long time. So I put it on late last night. I'm putting it on early this morning so that I can wear it throughout the day and let you guys know how they both wear. So this is my skin beforehand. I put on the SPF from iUnique. It's a very kind of standard sort of SPF. It leaves my skin feeling moisturized, but not too glowy or too matte. It's kind of like right in the middle. So I would compare my skin right now to having a moisturizer on, if you're not familiar with that SPF formula. So this is what my skin looks like ahead of time. It has a good bit of redness. Actually today it doesn't look quite as red as it usually does, which I'm kind of impressed about. Usually my redness on my cheeks is a lot more red, but I have been using that redness reducing serum from, oh, I just blanked on the name, Peach Slices. It's the sister brand to Peach and Lily, but I've been using that redness reducer and I'm kind of starting to wonder if I'm noticing that it's working, because I feel like this is a lot less redness on my cheeks, especially like right here. I typically have a lot more redness. So I am actually excited that I noticed that. And this is the first time I've noticed that it's been a lot less red. So that's nice. It's not as red on this side either. The two skin tints that I picked up are these two. So the first one is the new one from Maybelline. This is the Super Stay with Vitamin C 24-hour skin tint. I feel like that's a pretty huge claim for a skin tint to last 24 hours, because when I think of a skin tint, I think of like a light dewy finish that's not going to be very long wearing. I'm really excited to try this one because I saw Allie Glines try this and it looked really nice on her skin. And then I've been really wanting to try this one. This is the other one I picked up. This is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. And I got this one in the lightest shade. This is 0.5-2. And I forgot to mention, but in the Maybelline one, I picked up the shade 110. The shade below this, I believe, was called 102, and it was very, very pink toned. And what I've noticed with skin tints is I almost want one shade darker than I might think initially if it's kind of between the two. Because when it comes to coverage, I find that if I get a deeper color, it covers my redness a little bit more, and I can usually make it work with my skin. But if I get one that's too light, I'm so fair-skinned that I feel like sometimes my foundations just don't cover any redness because they're such light pigments. So sometimes that's kind of the struggle that I have with skin tints. So I did go ahead and pick up the shade 110 instead of 102 or 104. I can't remember what the one lighter than this one was, but that's why I decided to pick this one up. And then in the L'Oreal one, the next shade was a lot deeper. So this one is supposed to encompass 1.5 shades worth of like a normal foundation with more coverage. So that's why I picked up the lighter shade in this one. So here's the shades compared to each other. You have the Maybelline here and the L'Oreal on this side. They do both have the dropper style packaging. I think the dropper style packaging has a lot of cons about getting really messy. So I did actually order the pump. Shout out to my friend Leanne for sending me the link of the pump that she has. Mine is supposed to come in the mail today, so I'm really excited for that. Both products have 1.0 fluid ounces, so right at 1 ounce. And I like that they're so comparable because you can even see that this one from L'Oreal has more of the glass on the bottom, but overall, like the packaging is pretty similar to one another. So I'm really excited to try these. I purchased both of these from Walmart, so I will go ahead and show you guys the price comparison here. But the prices vary based on where you buy them. I know at Ulta it's more expensive, so I did pick mine up at Walmart and they're a little bit cheaper. So, you know, they're around $13 or $14 depending on where you're going to find them. But I think if you get them at Ulta, they're even a couple dollars more. So I'm really glad that I found them at Walmart. I didn't really want to pick those up at Ulta personally, unless you have that like $3 off 15 or something like that and you're picking up enough to get the discount. But I would rather just get it from Walmart and save a little bit of money there. Okay, So yesterday when I tried this, I put the Maybelline on the left side just because this one tends to have a little bit more redness. But since my skin is looking pretty good today, I think it's gonna be a pretty even test. This one might have like a slight amount more, but I'm still gonna put the Maybelline on the left side because I wanna know how this wears over time. And since this one still has, I would say even just a slight bit more red, I wanna put this one to that kind of a test. So that's why I'm going to decide to put the Maybelline one on the left side of my face where I have more redness, and then the L'Oreal one on the right side. So I'm gonna shake these up because I find that with foundations lately, especially when they're lighter coverage, a little bit more like water texture, that I want them to be a little bit more well mixed before I use them. So yeah, this packaging is honestly just kind of messy. It's got a really large opening here, so I was kind of trying to get the product off of it because it's definitely going to get dirty. So I'm excited that I have those pumps coming in, but I went ahead and picked up a dropper full, and I'm going to try and wipe off the excess from the outside of this. I'm just going to drop it onto the face. I want to start with a lighter layer, so I'm just going to put that much on for now. Like I said, I did try these last night. These brushes that I'm going to use were perfectly clean last night. I had just washed them, and now they've had one use of the same product. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with that. This is the angled foundation brush from Pract. It's the sister company to Sigma, but it's a pretty good brush for a complexion product. I'm planning to blend them out with a brush, and then we will move on to kind of tap them in with a sponge if we want to later, which I probably will. So I'm just going to start by blending this out. So this is blending out really nicely, I would say, and I feel like it covers up quite a good bit of redness too. So definitely it's not going to cover up 100% of everything. It's not full coverage. That's not the point of this product, but I still wanted a skin tint where I felt confident wearing it. And if it doesn't cover any redness at all, then I feel like I'm going to be caking on concealer, and then kind of it's like, what's the point of wearing the skin tint in the first place? Move this. I feel like it's so distracting. But this one covers up a decent amount of redness, I would say. So I can still see like a tiny little bit of it peeking through. This is mostly my problem area because I'm going to end up putting bronzer and blush in this area here on my cheek. So don't worry about that one too much. I kind of lean into it almost because a blush going over a red patch on the skin is honestly just going to give it a little bit more pigment in my opinion, but I don't worry too much about covering it up on the cheek. But especially here, like on the lower part of my cheek near my jawline, that's where I'm always a little bit self-conscious about the redness. Like I said though, it's definitely better today than it usually is. So this is just one layer blended out with a brush. It has a pretty good bit of glow to it. It's definitely not matte. I don't know, I wouldn't exactly describe this as a dewy finish. I would say it's like satin with a little hint of a dewiness to it, but I think it's pretty kind of like in the middle of the road there, which I'm honestly not mad about. I feel like that's probably where the longevity is coming from because it's not overly dewy. So it's a little bit more satin, and I think that's going to help it last longer. But I'm really happy with that coverage just from one small layer, so I don't really want to build it up. I did build it up yesterday. I used, I guess, a little bit less than this, and then I added more. It built up fine, but I don't really want to add more because I feel like it looks really nice right now. So let's go ahead and try out the L'Oreal one. Again, I'm going to shake it, and then this one is even messier. So this one definitely has messier packaging, I guess because the Maybelline one has a larger opening. It doesn't get quite as messy, but this one is pretty messy. And I've only used it twice now. This is the second time I'm using it. So I feel like it's going to be really messy the longer that you use this. So I'll link below those pumps. I'm going to put them on my Amazon storefront. It's the link that Leanne sent me, and they're supposed to come in today. So I'll know if they worked for both of these. So if they do, I'll put those in the storefront for you guys to shop. I'm going to use this brush for the L'Oreal one. This is from Spectrum Collection Brushes. And again, I've only used this brush once since cleaning it, and it was yesterday with this formula. I will say these both have a pretty makeup-y scent, especially this one. I kind of forgot to mention it with the Maybelline one. It's not so strong, but this one definitely smells like makeup. I don't know. I don't really mind that, and I feel like a lot of drugstore complexion products smell makeup-y. Okay, this one is a lot more watery. It definitely has less coverage off the bat than the Maybelline one. So it did blend in really quick, but I will layer this one. So here's with one layer of the Maybelline versus one layer of the L'Oreal. So you can see, I'm guessing that a lot more is peeking through. You can see a lot more of my freckles here on this side, and then it didn't really cover up a ton, but especially like right here, all the product was kind of blended in before it made it there, I feel like. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. All right, so I feel like this one gets picked up a little bit by the brush, which is surprising because usually brushes don't pick up as much as a sponge would. But this one is definitely like a more watery texture. It's a more dewy product. So that might have something to do with why it's being absorbed a little bit more. So with this product, I think this is where I would stop. I don't think I would keep layering it up because, again, it's not meant to be a full coverage product. I'm really not trying for it to be full coverage. I just wanted it to have, you know, a little bit more coverage, but you can definitely still see the freckles through. You can see the freckles on both sides, but especially on the L'Oreal side. So I'm going to leave it at that. I do have my sponge damp already, so I'm just going to press over the whole face with this. I'm not picking up any more product, but I am just going to kind of press everything in. It's mostly set down now, so it's just kind of going to help it sink in. I don't think it's going to blend the formulas any. The Maybelline one definitely has set down pretty nicely, so I'm excited to see the wear on this one. This is a product I could see myself wearing like day to day to work, whereas this one I could see myself wearing more on the weekends so far, because I think it's just more of that kind of like light coverage, like effortless sort of a look. So this is what the skin's looking like with the coverage that I'm happy with. So here's the Maybelline side. And then here is the L'Oreal side. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. I think they're both really pretty. I'm gonna add concealer to the under eyes, but I'm not gonna put it on the cheeks or anything because I really wanna see like how the skin tints will wear and how they will cover all of that over time throughout the day. So let me grab a concealer. I recently picked up this concealer from NARS. I've been wanting this for so long. This is the potted concealer. I got mine in the shade Vanilla. This is called their Soft Matte Complete Concealer. And yeah, I've been really wanting to try this for a long time. I've been using it for the last few days and I'm really liking it. So I'm just going to use this with a brush. And if you're wondering, this is the Sigma Bake Precision P89 brush. It's a really nice concealer brush in my opinion. So like I said, I'm just gonna conceal the under eyes because I want to really test out the skin tints, but I wanted to note that I am adding concealer because I just don't like all the blue peeking through, and I don't want to really layer up a skin tint underneath there, where I just like to use concealer instead. But I'm really liking this concealer, by the way. Like, it's really good. And even though I've got a little bit of drier skin, I don't find that this emphasizes it at all. And I love how much it covers up the blueness under my under eyes. I love this stuff. I'm so tempted to cover up my nose because there's so many freckles coming through on it. But I think I just need to get used to using a skin tint more. So we're gonna leave it at that. I always want to reach for my CoverGirl powder that's in the pink packaging right there, but that one is pretty, it has a lot of coverage to it. It's a really good powder, but because I'm trying to test the base product here, I'm going to use the number 7 powder. I feel like this one is just a little bit more subtle and translucent, so I don't feel like it's as strong of a setting powder. And I do feel like the CoverGirl can make a foundation last longer than it typically would with any other combination of products. So I want to give this a fair shot. So what I'm going to do is just set the under eyes and then right around the nose and probably across the nose too, because I tend to bump into my nose a lot. So I'm not trying to really test the wear time on my nose quite as much as the other areas on my face. So I'm just pressing around kind of like the center of the face with a little bit of powder, not going with too much. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back to show you guys the before, and then I will try and do like a check-in a couple times throughout the day. I'll also show you guys in more natural lighting because I am in front of a window, but I don't have a lot of natural light in this room. So I am using studio lights. So I'm gonna show you guys in front of natural light only, like with just by the window. So hopefully that will be a little bit better so I can show you guys how both are looking. But I do feel like this is pretty accurate to how it is looking. So I'm gonna finish up my makeup and then I'll show you guys the results. So this is what the full face of makeup is looking like. I wanted to go ahead and show you guys an up close, then I'll show you in natural light, and then I'll show you guys a wear test later on. But this is how we're looking. Okay, so here's how it's looking in natural light. I gotta say, I'm actually preferring the Maybelline side so far. I feel like it looks a lot more luminous and a lot more like healthy looking, which is kind of what I attribute a skin tint to look like. So I'm excited to see how this one wears, but I feel like this side is just super glowy. Now I do have a highlight on, so that's what's right here, but like I didn't bring that all the way down. So I really feel like it looks very, very glowy. And then here is how the L'Oreal side looks, which I think it still looks good. But I don't know. I feel like I'm liking the Maybelline side more on my skin right now. So I will check in with you guys after a little while, but this is how it's looking in natural light. Okay, I've had the makeup on for about 11 hours now. So I wanted to go ahead and check in with you guys, show you how the skin tints are looking. Initially, when I put on the products, I really preferred the Maybelline side, which was this side of my face, a little bit more than the L'Oreal one, just because the finish was a little bit more dewy, which I was surprised about because when I first put it on, it felt more like a satin finish. But as it set down, I felt like it had a really, really nice glow to it. Now, my skin is not oily. I have a pretty like normal to dry leaning skin. So in the summertime, it's not overly dry, but it's still definitely not oily. So this is how the Maybelline side is looking. And I definitely think some of the redness is peeking through more. This is pretty typical though to how a foundation would wear. And I'm pretty impressed for it being a skin tint to have worn this well. And then honestly, I think the L'Oreal side wore really well too. So here is a good look at that side. So I'm honestly really happy with both of them. I feel like they look pretty similar on the skin. So I don't feel like you could go wrong if you were just wanting to pick one up over the other. They're pretty comparable down to a $1 difference. So I don't know, I feel like on the skin after 11 hours, they've honestly worn pretty similarly. Definitely the redness has peeked through a little bit, but nothing too crazy, I would say. And I think that they look the same. Like I don't think anyone would have noticed that I had on two different foundations today. And like I went out and about in this, like it was fine. And they're two different products, but I don't think you can tell. So after it's set down, I would say about maybe 2 hours after applying it, they looked pretty similar. So for the first couple of hours, the Maybelline side definitely looked a little bit more dewy and glowy, but after about 2 hours, they started to look the same. So I'm really happy with them after 11 hours. I'm gonna keep wearing it for a little bit longer, but if anything changes, I'll let you guys know in the description box of this video, but I'm not planning to do another check-in because the odds of me remembering to do that are not very good. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with both of these so far. If I had to pick one, I guess right now I might say the Maybelline, just because it didn't soak up as much product in the brush and I really liked how dewy it was right at first. I did get the little 2-pack of pumps in the mail today, so I wanted to show you guys that. It was a 2-pack for about $8, a little over $8, and the pumps fit both of them, so I'm excited about that. I went ahead and replaced the dropper bottle, so I'm just gonna clean off this part and hold on to it, just in case for any reason I want to use the dropper again. But I did go ahead and put the pumps on the bottles, which is really nice. It has like a little cover on it too, to where it wouldn't pump if you didn't want it to. And you can also twist the little pump too. So I just put these on and they fit really nicely. So that's nice. I'm gonna have them linked below in my Amazon storefront. Again, a special thank you to Leanne for suggesting these to me. She was also telling me that this L'Oreal one is her favorite, and she's been through multiple bottles of it. So she's a big reason why I picked this one up, and I think it's for good reason. It's a really good foundation. So I'm gonna keep using them. Hopefully I can tell a little bit more differences between them. I think the next time I use these, I might actually mix them and try them together because I think that that would probably be like the best of both worlds. So I'm glad I picked up both of these. I definitely have other drugstore foundations on my radar too. It's so hard though because it takes forever to use one up. I really do enjoy trying new foundations, and especially ones from the drugstore because they're just more affordable. I feel like these formulas have come a really long way over the years, and I really like both of these. I'm excited to keep using them throughout the summer especially. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you've tried either one of these skin tints, let me know what you think about them down below. And if you've tried both of them, let me know which one is your favorite. If there's any other drugstore foundations that you're interested in seeing, let me know because I definitely have a couple more on my radar, and that might kind of move that up the list for me to try out for you guys. But if you did enjoy today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.